Hi, Aline. I'm going to talk today about identification. It can be a foundational tool that you use, whether it's in meditation or in daily life. It's something to use so you understand when you start to listen to the contents of your consciousness, when you're in meditation or just in everyday life, when you start to hear that thinking or see certain images or remember certain things, the tool of identifying is going to be extremely important for you to be able to move from insight. So I want to just talk first about what is identification. You can start just with a thought. So if you're in meditation and you hear, I need to do the dishes, then we just take that one thought, I need to do the dishes. So it's just identifying. It's very simple. There's one thought. I'm going to take that thought so that I can feel what it brings. So with identification, it's not only identifying there's been a thought, we're also going to have the felt sense of that thought. So what does it bring? What emotions or felt sense? So if you take that thought of, I need to do the dishes, for some, it might bring nothing. It's kind of a neutral thought. For others, it might bring a sense of tension because the next thought might be because they're not done. So you can use that tool of identification and the felt sense to help have the direct experience of what is in your mind so that you can see what it brings. Does it bring something you want to participate in? Or does it bring something that actually feels really bad, that feels exhausting? And so whether or not it's right or wrong or good or bad, it doesn't actually matter. What will be most important is it in alignment with your being? If it only brings things like exhaustion, if it only brings things like worry and anxiety, all that feeling of tension, is it worth it? Is it in alignment with what you want your moments to be filled with? And if it's not, then all we get to do is we get to start to move from that insight. Oh, it's not in alignment with the things I want to start to fill my moments with. And we can start to understand, what do I want my moments to be filled with? Maybe they'll be just a blank. Maybe we don't know yet. But for some, you might know. If you hear a lot of anger or frustration or exhaustion, start to ask yourself, what's the opposite? Is it calm? Is it contentment? Is it joy? So the beautiful thing of identification is that you'll start to get the direct experience of what is in your mind and what it brings. And that will give you the insight to see, do I want to participate? So again, as you go through meditation, as you go through life, see if you can have some moments where you start to just take one thing. Maybe you see yourself at yoga class. Maybe you remember something that happened at work with a certain colleague. Just take that one little snapshot and ask yourself, what does it bring? Give yourself a moment to feel, because that is where your insight will come from. Oh, it continues to bring stress. I didn't know that. Oh, it continues to bring frustration. Even though it may be so true in your mind that that person was wrong and I was right. At the end of the day, if all that thought brings, if all that image brings is things like suffering, you just have to ask your being, is it worth it? Do you want to continue to participate in something that only brings suffering? And if you really give yourself time to rest in the felt sense of what it brings and it's only suffering, your being won't let you do it. Your own inner strength will begin to rise up and say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not worth it. So in that moment, there is a freedom from that old pattern. And then you can begin to turn your attention to the things that you love, the things you want your moments to be filled with. It can be as simple as a cup of tea. If that's something that helps you slow down and savor the moment, it can just be turning to look outside the window and see the snow falling. Just give yourself that time to identify what is here and what it brings. This will be a key foundational skill for meditation and in daily life so that you can be free and also live in your joy and eternal love.